This program is designed to provide general information with regards to the subject matters covered. This information is given with the understanding that neither the hosts, guests, sponsors, or station are engaged in rendering any specific and personal, medical, financial, legal, counseling, professional service, or any advice. You should seek the services of competent professionals before applying or trying any suggested ideas. Magazine publisher and entrepreneur Judith Mancini is sharing captivating conversations with experts in their field about the latest trends in our ever-changing world to help you become healthy, wealthy, and wise. Judith Mancini today will spark your interest and inspire you to lead your best life ever. And now, here's Judith.
Hey everybody, welcome to Judith Mancini today. I'm grateful to be here and I'm grateful that you're here with me. Wow, what a couple of days I've had lately, And that's why I titled this, My Worst Day Could Be Someone Else's Best Day. I really had it. If you remember last week, I got an emergency call in the middle of the show. And this week, I thought I was going to be able to broadcast because yesterday we had no electricity. We live in the desert now, and we had some earthquakes a few days ago. And apparently it whacked out some electric power stations or something. I don't know. I could never get a straight answer from Southern California Electric. Well, I looked up SoCal Electric finally when I walked into a restaurant where I could use their Wi-Fi for a minute and looked up the address of SoCal Electric. There are no live people to talk to anymore at Southern California Edison. It's all done by AI. And believe me, I'm all in favor of following along with staying up with other nations and doing AI and the technology that's supposed to make our lives better. But this was really irritating to me. I had to deal with so much poopy stuff yesterday that I was about to lose it. It was a horrible day. And here I've got my husband in the car with me because I take him with me everywhere I go. He doesn't drive anymore, and I like to get him out. He just, walking around the condo association isn't much good. So I take him with me everywhere. He's in the car, and I'm playing some music and thinking that's going to get me better, but I don't know. They were playing wacky songs. I should have just listened to some classical music, but I didn't. So we go back home, we go to the HOA office, all of this stuff. And I've been dealing with it and no telling when it's going to come back on. Maybe 8:00 tonight. Well, by this time it's 2:00 and we hadn't had any lunch. Of course, we eat a nice breakfast with lots of protein. So we're not starving to death by any means. And I said, let's go grab a burger at one of our favorite places. So we went to Tony's Burgers, and apparently it's been sold because I didn't recognize any of the waiters. I did the one guy who walks around and makes sure everything is okay with you. This is a very casual place, and they have burgers that are this big and fabulous onion rings. And I do love a good cheeseburger, but they have them with all different things. I had mine with brie. Lou had his with jalapeno peppers, which I don't know why, because he's not crazy about that kind of spice. But we were sitting there happy, so to speak. Inside me, I'm thinking, why am I having all these problems? And I'm talking to Lou, and they turn on the 60s music, and I'm kind of dancing around my chair with it. And the waiter comes over and he goes, "Everything going okay over at this table?" I said, "Yeah, but I just had a really horrible day." And he looks at me and he goes, "Your worst day could be my best day. Be grateful." That was exactly what I needed to hear. I am grateful. I'm so grateful that I'm still alive at 78 on earth. So I can be with my daughter and my grandkids and my husband, and that his emergency last week was okay and we took care of it. I'm grateful for everything. But lately, I've been having challenges. And that's what I have to remember and what you need to remember. Sometimes life is full of challenges, and we just need to buckle up, be happy, sing those 60 songs, and think about other people. Think about other people that aren't having such a good day. We have a terrible homeless problem here in the desert. A lot of them are vets. I don't know why. They say they have all these places for the homeless to go and shelter and all, but I need to explore that more, because you know what? When you're helping people, it makes you happier to see them happier. And we need to concentrate on that, you know? So there are certain things that are important to me and reasons why I get out of bed and start my day. Certainly, I've had sadness in my life, and so have a lot of other people. Some people say get rid of your grief and get rid of it right away and just get on with your life. But I'm telling you, once you lose a child, you're not going to feel like that, or a spouse, or anybody really close to you. Give yourself time to grieve. I'm still grieving, but I am out of bed and I am back to living a life that I should be living. Now, there are some things that you need to do, and I want you to do them before February. We are in the third week. I think it's the third week. Yes, the fourth week is coming up next week. We're in the third week of January, so we're getting close to the end of January. And you should be thinking more about those goals that you set and what you wanted to do. And I say one of the main goals that most people told me about were, as they're aging, they want to be happier and filled with joy. So I'm going to discuss a few things you can do today to do that. First of all, you know I'm a big person for saying my prayers and starting my day with gratitude. And when the weather is beautiful, I like to go outside and talk to God. And probably some people in our little condo complex here might think that's the crazy lady taking her walk in the morning talking to herself, but I'm not. I'm talking to the higher being than me. I'm talking to God, and I'm thanking him for the way the sun comes up over the mountains here in the valley and then goes and highlights the tips of the mountains that surround us. It's spectacular. I'm telling you, it is just absolutely spectacular. And only somebody like God could create this. This is not a painting, but there are many paintings of it. And we are blessed to be part of that, to see it and enjoy it. But one thing I did when we moved down here about 2 years ago in my grief-stricken space is I just connected with people. I couldn't talk to them on the phone. I couldn't think of small things to talk about and to entertain them and all. I wanted to know what was going on in their lives, but I just couldn't talk to them. So many times I just didn't answer the phone. And I'll tell you something, I missed a really important phone call like that. And I've been grieving over that now forever, because what happened was this wonderful, beautiful friend of mine for 30 years or more, actually probably close to 40, passed away a couple of months ago. And I hadn't talked to her. I didn't go to see her. I forgot that part of being happy is going and talking to people about what's going on in their lives. I didn't mean to forget. I didn't mean to ignore them. I was just so stricken with grief, I couldn't move. So what you really need to do is stay connected with people who are very important to you. The part that struck me as odd and terrible for me to even decide not to talk to her is she lived here in the valley, in the desert, for many years. And I miss her greatly. And I'm so sorry. And I think her husband has passed now, too. And she had 2 beautiful daughters. And boy, I apologize to them. I'm so sorry. So very sorry I didn't get to say how much I loved her as a friend. So that's one thing you need to do. I moved down here and thinking, oh, I won't have any friends. I'll just be staying in and all. And that's okay with me. I need to heal. But I found out I had 12 or more friends down here that I had known for years. Well, I was lucky enough that through one of the charities, philanthropic groups that I belong to, we sponsor college graduates to get their doctorates or what have you, higher learning in the fields they're in, and they're all in science. So they go to, I think we have 7 universities that we donate money to. And it's a very old organization in Los Angeles. And gratefully, one of the past presidents and now on the national board of ARCS, Achievement Rewards for College Scientists, was gracious and invited some of us who live here to come to a luncheon at her country club. So I did make the effort, which was terrible. I mean, I'm not the glamorous person I was. But I was so happy to see these ladies. There were, I think, 8 of us. And I hadn't seen any of them. And so it was delightful just to catch up on them and find out what's going on with the ARCS Association. By the way, the Los Angeles chapter is the founding chapter, and it's a national organization for many years now. So I did reconnect with some of the people. And one of my dearest friends and I are going to lunch, and that will be my second one-on-one luncheon with a girlfriend since I've moved down here. My other girlfriend lives down here. We had lunch several months ago, so that was delightful too, because we have daughters around the same age. So moving on about staying connected with people, my husband hasn't stayed connected with people. There's a couple of them that he does talk to once in a while, but he wanted to sit back in retirement and chill out, and that's what he does. But I can see that once in a while he does like to be around his friends. You need a reason to get up every morning, and maybe you think it's your children, but at our age, we have adult children, and they have their own lives. And I'm sure they get up and they're grateful for their kids. Well, we need to be getting up and thinking about our children and our friends and what's going on in their lives. It's easy to not talk to your adult children. And here again, I don't have that privilege anymore. My son took his own life 5 years ago, nearly 5 years ago. So did I talk to him enough? I think I did. He told me I did. And he did so many wonderful things for me before he passed. He knew he was going to do this, and I didn't. He's just always been a kind child. And my daughter misses him greatly, her brother. So I try to stay very close to my children, to my daughter, and she lives up in the Santa Barbara area. So it's quite a drive with the traffic now. It used to be a breeze, but with all the traffic now, as people move out of the larger cities, mostly because of economic reasons, where the housing is so expensive, it's a little less expensive further away. So it takes 4 hours to get up there now when it should take 3, and maybe a little under. Well, when you're getting elderly, I don't like that word. Just say old. When you're getting older, everything takes longer, and everything can give you the chills and be uncomfortable. So we do make the trek up there quite often. And she's come down here once, but it's so difficult with 2 boys in the back of the car, 7 and 11, and they get a little bored. So they've taken kind of little side trips, and that's fun for them, though, too. But I need to talk to you about your friends. Who are your friends? Who sticks by you? Who sends you an email once in a while? Who gives you a telephone call once in a while? People haven't given up on me. They email me, they call me, and now I'm getting back into it because I've really missed them all. And so I am talking to people on the phone, and I am emailing, and several of them watch the show. So I could go romper, bumper, stomper, do, tell me true. You remember that with your little kids? Probably not. I get goofy. I even remember howdy doody. So we want to remember to have that reason to get up in the morning and thank God for the beauty around you and thank God for your friends. Just have that attitude of gratitude. That's what makes the world go round in a really pleasant way. Well, what about moving your body? I told you I talk to myself, but I talk to God as I'm taking my early morning walk, and I don't walk far and I don't walk fast. I'm not strolling, but I'm going at a good clip. And I walk as long as I feel like walking, or I don't have something that I need to go do that's pressing, like fixing my husband's breakfast. So that's what I do. And as I walk, I see some people that are by themselves like I am. And I always say good morning to them. And I'm surprised by the number that look at me like I'm kind of crazy because I said good morning to them. And then they go, oh, good morning. They're in their own little world, or they've forgotten how to say good morning. You know, it was never like that in California before. When I grew up, we knew all of our neighbors, and I was raised by my grandmother, as many of you know. And my brother and I would be out playing all the time, and all these neighbors knew us, and they knew why we lived with our grandparents. And they were so kind to us. And that was a time when they could invite you into their home to have cookies and milk or something like that. And you didn't have to be afraid. Everybody knew everybody. And it was such a lovely feeling. And grocery stores, supermarkets were just coming into being. And that would be a trip. That would be an excursion to go to a supermarket instead of what we're now coming back to, a butcher shop or the local ice cream shop. And so everybody, it was such a novelty, they'd gather at the supermarket. It was fun, pushing the carts, standing on them, having somebody give you a ride, and it could be the neighbor. It was lots of fun doing that. So you want to move your body and you want to keep the blood flowing and your lymphatic system working correctly so that the toxins will be coming out of your body and you'll be feeling good, but that new, fresh air coming into you, into your lungs, through your nose and your mouth is extraordinarily peaceful and makes you feel so good. So you need to do those things and do it consistently. It doesn't matter if you miss a day or two, but keep it up. Get back into that program of walking. And it'd be really nice if you could go down and get into nature. Now, I've talked about the parks in different cities, like Pittsburgh, with how many beautiful parks they have where you can take your dog or not. And New York, of course, we have Central Park, and it's beautiful. Sometimes when you move to the suburbs, you don't have so many parks. But as we moved further north from Beverly Hills, we discovered some little towns that do have these beautiful parks. Or like Oak Park, where we lived for a while, we were always looking to downsize. So we tried different areas there for a while. And that's when we settled on the desert. But a lot of these places like Oak Park kept the oaks that were natural to the area. So they had these beautiful, I call them avenues because there was a center divider and there were oaks on either side of the road, and absolutely beautiful. And of course, when we were back east and we lived in Pittsburgh in a high rise a couple of times, there were lots of parks there, and it was just so beautiful all the time with nature. Too many times when they put these new developments in, they chop the trees down because it doesn't fit into their plan. It fits in the middle of a road that they want to build or something. So they chop them down. And then if you're lucky, they plant along the sidewalk, between the sidewalk and the street, these spindly little trees that will take 10 years to grow up. Ridiculous. Plan around the trees if you possibly can. Now, I digress, but I want to tell you something. Here in the desert, Disney has recently built what they call a luxury housing development behind gates. And it's supposed to be competing with the Villages in Florida. I've not been to the Villages, but I do have some friends that live there and have taken pictures and all. Let me tell you, this development in the Palm Springs area in the valley, Coachella Valley, is nothing like that. It's behind concrete walls. It has a little bit of cactus decorating that wall, and it has a lake that they dug and put water in. And instead of being private for these people, one of the objects that they had to fulfill was giving day passes to people to come in. And I don't have a problem with that. What I have a problem with is putting a phony lake in there. The Coachella Valley used to be a lake, and it sits on top of the earthquake faults. So the water was there to begin with, and when it was shaking, the water pushed up the land. So we have these mountains surrounding the Coachella Valley. That's a short description of it. So here they put this crazy pretend lake in there. I don't know. I don't like that kind of development when they're destroying nature. Okay. The other thing is, one thing that keeps me busy is I love history. And right now I'm in the middle of studying about the wars. I've always been interested in World War II because of my father being in World War II. And then, of course, my brother being in Vietnam. So, well, my husband was in the service also, but they shipped him over to, I think, I always forget, Germany, I think, to teach NATO troops how to shoot missiles. So he wasn't in the immediate war, but he also served. So we're proud of that. And so why I'm telling you about history is I don't know that I would call it a hobby. I just am very interested in it all. So I've been reading books on all the different wars, and I'm in World War II now, and I'm reading one by Bill O'Reilly about Patton, General Patton. So that's where I am with that. But I read a lot, and it certainly isn't as heady as that. It's like murder mysteries or some kind of detective story. You can do that. I usually do it at night. I don't like to be in all the time, so I like to go outside, and we have a tiny little patio that I go sit on, except when it feels like 200 degrees. What else I want to tell you about is if you have hobbies, maybe you want to join a group that does those things. Maybe, I don't know, do women still do needle pointing or embroidery? I know when I was young and married for the first time, I did a lot of that. One of my grandmothers helped support my mother after she had polio with being a seamstress. She was a beautiful seamstress. And she taught me how to cut fabric and make skirts and things without patterns. She taught me the real hem stitch, which I don't think anybody even knows what a real hem stitch is. That's when you fold it up the bottom of your skirt and put a hem in it. And there is a stitch that locks that in so it won't just unravel. And then, of course, she taught me embroidery with all the different stitches in that. And that was fun because then when I was married and had 2 small children, I made them both Christmas stockings. That was fun. And I had a sewing machine, and I even made curtains and draperies for my kids' rooms as I was decorating them and putting wallpaper up and all of that stuff. Do I look like the domestic type? No, and I'm really not. But I enjoyed all those things and learning about them. And maybe if you have those skills, what if you started a group that you could do it together? And if you're a man, what if you're interested in reading books on the war? You could start a group and discuss the different books. Or you could play chess, or you could play golf. There's all sorts of things to keep your body moving. And if your body's not moving as fast as you want it to, keep it up. You may be treating yourself and finding out that you're more limber and can do more things than you really thought you could. So on this phone call stuff and getting together with people, here are some little things to help you connect with people. Stay off of social media. I'm on social media, but I'm on social media for one reason. I have a podcast, and that's why I'm on it. I talk to a lot of people about that and other podcasters and other people with businesses and things like that. So that's why I'm on social media. Occasionally, my kids or my grandkids will send me pictures or something to one of the sites I belong to. So that's nice too. And that is a good way to keep up with your grandchildren on one of those platforms. But please stay off the bad sites, okay? It's not a license to gamble and lose all your money. It's not a thing for porno. That's not enhancing your life. That's being stupid. Take care of your thoughts and what goes on with your grandchildren when you're doing social media, okay? Why don't you set up, and I was just thinking about this myself, a monthly luncheon or a weekly luncheon with your friends? And it can be everybody takes care of their own check, or you could find a restaurant where you could all put in the pot $25 or whatever, figure it out. You could meet once a month, once a week. Once a week is a little too often, in my opinion, But maybe you want to set one up weekly for different groups, and that gets you out. It could be a bridge group for you. Personally, I can't stand to play cards, but don't tell anybody that. I have to always be polite about that. But I like to be able to talk, chit chat, catch up on things. And that's why I don't like to play bridge or something like that. Not that I'm a chatterbox, but if I'm going to see you and take my time to see you, I'd like to be able to chat with you. So, but why don't you see if you could even do it with a neighbor or a church group? Anything that makes you feel like you belong to someplace and you have a destination to go every Wednesday at 12 o'clock, something like that, to get you out and about and explore. Maybe you want to join a hiking group. You know, just because you're in your 70s doesn't mean you can't go hiking. Just go with somebody. Take your phone. Don't go on paths where you think there's nobody around and you might be harassed by some crazy person. Here in the desert, it's interesting because most of the land in the Coachella Valley has been owned, well, of course, it all belonged to the Native Americans forever. And then we know about the treaties and this and that and everything else. But a lot of the hiking trails and all are still owned and operated by the different tribes. And you can pay a small fee, and there's enough people that go on these that they're perfectly safe. They're not too steep for you. They're not too rugged. You can see beautiful things. And what about the history of where you live? I'm just starting to get into the Native American tribes that are here and still operating in the Coachella Valley. And I'll tell you another thing. We chose Cathedral City because I didn't want to live someplace like the Paseo district or La Quinta, Palm Desert, someplace like that, because there's lots of housing developments. And I felt like I would just be moving to the same sort of life that I had before. And I wanted a different life. I like to explore. I loved moving all over the country and learning more about our beautiful country for nearly 25 years with my husband. Excuse me. So I'm trying to learn more about the tribes that are here, but we also have a very large Mexican population, and I do speak a little bit of Spanish, and I found my own Mexican butcher shop, and next to it is the restaurant they own, and their carne asada tacos are unbelievably delicious. We go quite frequently. That's the only butcher shop I will use because it's locally grown beef, and they feed it clean food, like the clean grains and everything. So healthy. And I just love living here because it's fun. I feel like I'm in Mexico half the time. I just absolutely love it. So what I'm saying is find a purpose and a reason to get up in the morning and go explore. Maybe you live in the same place you've lived for 45, 50 years, all your married life, and you haven't downsized, but why don't you consider it? Or why don't you consider taking one of your bedrooms and bathrooms and turning it into not just a moneymaker, but some place that you might be having a friend come in and rent it from you at a very low price so that they have someplace wonderful to live, and it should be a good friend. I don't know anybody who does that at this age with a stranger, but I will tell you in Santa Barbara, where the university is, a lot of people did that with college students, and the college students would pay for it, and it worked out very well. So that is one thing you could do with these big houses you have. Or the other thing is put a wonderful price on your house and sell it to a young married couple. It's hard to buy houses now. The interest rate is up. And I have to tell you, when we bought our first house, the interest rate was around 17%. I don't get it. Maybe it was just where we were living. I have no idea. Very strange. But it's down, but it's still over 3%, like a 2.5 and 3% like it was there for a while. So it's making it difficult for young people starting out to buy housing. So maybe that will get straightened out. But if you do have a home, you might consider that. Or you might consider renting out the whole home and you go live somewhere else. And there are other things besides assisted living. There are wonderful retirement communities where they're not so inexpensive, the very nice ones. You have a beautiful room, or you could get a little villa with a living room and a couple bedrooms and dining area. You can have your food delivered to you, or you can go every night to the dining room, or they have fabulous menus, and then they have wonderful get-togethers and bingo night and card night and dance night and lecture night. They have swimming pools, pickleball courts. There's all kinds of things you can do when you're older if you stay healthy. And we do talk about that on this show too. So think about what you want to do and how you want to maintain friends and family. But don't get mad at your kids if they don't come to visit you all the time. They have their own life, and it's hard to fit picking up those kids, maintaining your professional life when you're young marrieds or even old marrieds, and then you both have a profession. It's difficult, and you have to respect their lives too. And if you want to keep your children friendly and not criticize you, and you shouldn't criticize them, you should try to help them fit in with them. It's not wrong to give your children some of the money they may inherit up front. And I get that question all the time. No, I sent my daughter through college. My son didn't want to go, so I supported him in a different way. I helped him with his housing when he was starting his career in the entertainment business. Behind the camera in props and all, and started his own company. There's no right or wrong way, and you shouldn't listen to your friends when you're out to lunch with them telling you what to do with your children. That's a no-no. People should keep their business private with their friends. Even your best friend doesn't need to know every little nuance of your life. Keep it friendly. Don't criticize. Well, those are my reasons to get up in the morning. I love to get up early in the morning. I'm not a night person, so I don't stay up and party. That was for when I was young and out dancing half the night away for different things. It was always the balls and the gowns and the fabulous times that we would have. And that kept us out. But I was never one to drink too much anyway. So I didn't get up with hangovers in the morning and not be able to cook breakfast for my kids or go to run my publishing company. But it was more entertaining, and we had more friends or acquaintances and something always on our calendars to go do. So you need to recreate that, but in a different way. In my group of friends, we always celebrated each other's birthdays. So we would take that time and have a nice luncheon and treat the birthday girl or the birthday guy. Yeah, we had some guy friends that would come to these things too. They were usually the ones who helped us with our careers or ran a charity of some sort. Just really good friends. I don't remember too many where we had the men in our lives, our husbands, come to luncheons until we were all on the verge of retiring or were retired. And then we had several couples that we would get together, and some that lived down by the San Diego area. One of them that we had lived down in that area, and they got on the train. Another couple drove. We drove because there was no train running. We went to Alvera Street in Los Angeles. That is where Los Angeles, the City of Angels, was first built down there, and Union Station is there. So they came up on the train and we met, and we went to a restaurant on Alvera Street. So much fun. We all met, had a delightful lunch, took pictures. It's really good memories. And they got back on the train and went back to San Diego, and our other friends drove back to their home, and we drove back to our home. And it's a time we still talk about and don't forget. Really fun memories to be made. So don't think you have to sit at home all the time. And if you have to live on a budget, think of other places to go. There's a lot of great hot dog stands and things around Los Angeles. I know that. The dog and pup, the pup and dog, I can't remember. The tail of the dog, something like that in the Beverly Hills area. I can't remember it. There's all sorts of places you can go and sit down, outside, inside, just have a great time. You don't have to go to fancy places all the time. All right. So I think happiness grows when we nurture what truly matters. And to me, that's friendship and our family. And that's what we depend on as we grow older. So I'd like to know what you like to do that, because I have a friend that I don't even know what to do with anymore, and I'm going to tell you. She's taking these injections for NADS to extend her life. And she takes them, gosh, I don't know, a couple times a month or maybe more. I don't really know, because I'm not into that kind of thing. Why would you try to extend your life if you have no life? She's like a hermit. And she keeps losing friends, and it's so sad to me. And that's all she talks about, and how expensive it is. Well, this is the perfect segue for me, but that's not what I was thinking about, but I'm going to tell you about it. I just want people to live happy and productive, meaning cook your own meals, don't call out for them all the time. Make that your new hobby. Call a girlfriend, call a boyfriend, maybe old boyfriends, a high school reunion. Do all those different things and be happy. One thing, I know some of you need some side hustle jobs, and I've looked at those before too. The one that I decided I wanted to join after I was so skeptical about it was a company called LifeWave. And they have these small, slightly larger than a quarter patches that are non-transdermal. There's no medication in them. There's no funny things in them. There's some little crystals in the patch itself that bring the light from outside into your body to stimulate your stem cells to then go to one of the cells that is not working as hard as it should be working. Do you know that your cells in your body start decaying and not working from about age 25 on up, well, these bring them back to life. They just use the light in your body from the light outside. These patches can even be worn underneath or on your fabric of your clothes. And I think you should go to lifewave.com or lifewave/lifewave.com/Judith Mancini, and you can get on there and you can see what these patches do for you. There it is on the Cryon. You can go on there. It's miraculous. I didn't believe it. I studied it for nearly 9 months, over 8 months, to see what it was all about. And then I bought some. And I wear them daily. The X39 is their premier patch. It just promotes general well-being. And I love it. Gives me energy. It's kind of like age reversal too, or age. I don't know what it is, but it's actually getting rid of my wrinkles up here, making me feel younger. It's a remarkable thing, but study it for yourself. And if you have any questions, go to that website, www.lifewave.com/Judith Mancini. So do that, get out and have fun, and you'll feel much better. You'll feel younger again, and you'll have a purpose in life by reconnecting with your friends and your grandchildren and singing a song. I'm really into the 60s songs, of course, because that's when I was in high school, but I remember every word to them. Yep. Love to dance. Okay, that's keeping me young. What's keeping you young? Thanks for joining me today. Have a blessed week. And remember, cherish yesterday, dream tomorrow, and live today.